So, ABBA from, Preach from the ABBA and Preach show. I think that's what it's called. I'm really not up on black podcasts. I apologize.
You're forgiven.
Preach was on their show, Tigerbelly, on Khalyla and Bobby Lee's show. And, like, when they have white people on there and Khalyla's, like, trying to cuck out Bobby, she always does that on the show. Like, she tries to make Bobby look like a bitch and tries to make him look weak and, like, mind fucks him on the show. And, like, when it's around white people and other, like, soft LA comedians, they'll be like, oh, okay, and they'll play along. Mm-hmm. You bring a guy like Preach on there, bring a guy from some Black Hood podcast, and he'll be like, yo, you gonna let this bitch fucking talk to you like this? Like,
well, that'll be refreshing because you're right. I always see her kind of chew the scenery.
Right.
Like always.
And just she's a remarkably insecure person. I mean, watch Q. Oh, God damn it. What's the guy's name who did the Khalyla things? He put us in the video.
Not
XQC. That's a guy on Twitch. XTC.
XLP?
Yes, I think it's XLP. YouTube. Yeah, this guy. He actually put us in one, if not both, of the Khalyla videos.
Oh, that's right.
I like him because he put us in there. XLP, I think it's the only 2 videos he has on his channel. It's called Khalyla Coon, the most sadistic woman in comedy. And he did a great expose of what, like, a vindictive, manipulative, psycho, crazy, sociopathic bitch she is.
Yeah.
And she'll do this thing where she just tries to make Bobby look like a bitch all the time. And I used to feel bad for Bobby when it happened. But at some point, if someone's going to keep letting that shit happen to them, I stop feeling bad for you.
That's on you at some point.
Yeah. At some point, you got to put a stop to this. You can get rid of her. You can bring somebody in, maybe a nice, cute young lady who's got a little bit of a personality and isn't a dog jerking off psycho.
Well, check it out. They even broke up and he kept her there.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Are they still broken up?
Yeah. She tries to cuck him out, but then he also does it to himself. So what are you supposed to do? There's the girl from Trash Tuesday, the podcast she does with with Annie Lederman. Oh God, the Revenge of the Cis guys like her because she's like so innocent. And
I don't know her name.
Esther?
I'm sorry, I can't.
I think her
help
name's
you.
Esther on Trash Tuesday. Bobby could just move Esther in there and they could do a show together and he'd be out from the clutches of Khalyla. Well, maybe we're getting close to that point because they had this guy Preach on there. And Preach decided to let Bobby know, like, yo, you gonna... He couldn't stand the awkwardness anymore. And he was like, are you gonna let this fucking chick talk to you this way?
It got that bad? Wow.
Yeah. This is from the channel, I like this guy, Comedy Enforcement. Subscribe.
He's good.
Yeah. Subscribe to
him.
Comedy Enforcement. I like this guy. He does a good job covering this stuff. But here's the clips, and I've got them timestamped for you.
So, yeah, I knew that. I knew he called me Tommy Lee, right? He probably thinks I'm Ronnie Chang. Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing if he thinks you're Tommy Lee because of the dick size.
Oh, you mean the rocker Tommy Lee?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I just worked with Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah. She talked about it.
That's so
that's
true.
Awkward. It's just fucking awkward. Like, she tries to throw a dick slam in there.
That's kind of mean.
And then those two just kind of get... There is a weird, palpable uncomfortableness between the two of them, chemistry-wise. And then
they
Preach
shouldn't be in the same room.
Yeah, and then Preach is staring like, okay. That's his first hint of uncomfortableness.
She's kind of that's unprofessional at some level, too. You're doing a show here.
She also has to be the dominant person in the room, and if she can't outwardly dominate someone, she'll passive-aggressively do it like that. And Bobby is weak, so he's the perfect target for her.
And she knows that.
Yes.
Don't give away my secret, dude.
My bad.
That's
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro.
I claim big.
That is true because I've been with a guy with a micro penis, and it's not like I walked out. Like, I finished the job completely.
Yeah.
the job. So, Bobby, how was the relationship with that? bro. She gonna blast you? She gonna blast you like that?
Yeah, like he's already... So Preach is already at the point where he's like, dude, what the fuck?
I kind of like this guy. He's a dude, and he's like, man, you're totally being a bitch right now letting him talk to you like that.
You bring like a street level black guy into an LA podcaster's room, and you might as well be a bull in a china shop, because that guy's not going to let that soft, I go to therapy 4 times a week, gay ass LA shit fly.
Or letting women talk shit about your dick like that?
Right. Like,
no
he's going to
way.
be like, I wish that Preach would like have a class with Bobby right now and go, look, you like Patrice used to do on, I would love if Patrice, this is so hacked to say at this point, but if Patrice O'Neal was still alive and could go on this show, he would basically turn towards Bobby, turn away from Khalyla and go, look, you're not going to talk the rest of the show. Bobby, I need to talk to you for a minute.
Right.
Like, who is this fucking bitch who's going to come in here and tell you what to do with your show? Like,
I hope he said something to Bobby like after the fact. Like,
I think he said something on this show. Let's keep going.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
Yeah,
that
that's
wasn't
what I
me,
said.
Preach. Hey, you
Was
could
that me?
Hey, you could say
that me?
You could say like that, like Shaggy. It wasn't me. But we don't believe you, bro.
Yeah. It's small.
No, it's average.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very average.
Yeah.
So right up.
So
God.
So Preach is already like, it's like he knows what's going on before Bobby does, and he's trying to warn him in a way. So now she brings up Bobby's position of power in the past.
Oh, that's not cool. I feel like everybody but Bobby always knows what's going on. Khalyla knows, the guests know.
She knows him better than he knows himself, and she knows how to turn the buttons, pull the levers.
He's like a toy that has a user's manual.
Yeah.
And she's got the manual.
And he hasn't read it yet.
No.
So Preach is already uncomfortable. Let's go to the next clip.
It was so just rampant. That's how dudes like. Let me get you something. I'm gonna make. Yeah, you want to do stand up? Try open mics. I'll take you on the road someday.
Wait. His position of power.
That's okay. It's a whole conversation him and I have. But
What position of power?
Hey, fuck, man.
No.
No, not fuck you. No, Bobby, this is important. What he's trying to tell you is this bitch has convinced you that you had some kind of authority in the relationship while she manipulated and moved you the entire time. And Preach is trying to say, whoa. Who told you that you had power in the relationship? Oh, she did.
And then for me sitting here and like listening to her say, oh, it's just a conversation him and I have about position of power in our relationship and stuff. I can't imagine having that conversation with any dude ever.
Here's how that conversation,
Ever.
by the way, they don't have a conversation. Here's how that conversation goes. Oh, Bobby, you have all the power in our relationship because you had a career before this, so you should let me go on and do this and that and the other thing. There's no like back and forth conversation. There's Khalyla mind fucks this guy because he's weak into what to let him think who the fuck he is so she can go around and do her dirty, dastardly shit. Look,
You're right.
He's defending himself. She's smiling.
You're right. They don't talk. She tells.
Right.
That's it.
No, wait.
Stop. Back. So in certain circles, I do have power.
No, you don't. That's it.
But still.
The reason that I use the term. The reason that I use the term of
Age of power, bro.
position of power
Yeah.
is because he has talked about not being attracted to a woman who is equally as wealthy.
Oh, God.
Look at him.
He's fucking like somebody save this. This is why Preach needs to save this man. He's exhausted and he's been. Bobby, you don't have to take her fucking shit anymore.
All these people, though, that have tried to, like, expose her and stuff like that to him, like, there's no way he hasn't seen that. There's no way.
Again,
he knows.
this is where I would have empathy and sympathy for the abused man, but he's known this. This has been pointed out to him numerous times, and he just sits there like a lump, like a fucking lump. I would like to see one time her get confronted by somebody, that smile drain off her face. I would like to see her worried for a second.
And she's never, like,
No.
I will tell you why. Like, I've listened to a lot of stuff on her because she's almost fascinating. She's so evil.
Right.
She feels very comfortable saying every nasty thing that she's ever done, as far as like even jacking off her dog and having sex with her brother. And these are not things that I'm just coming up with. She says them on shows.
Like when she talks about him then like dying, there's no sense of remorse.
No.
There's no sense of emotion.
She
nothing.
giggles. And I'm just saying, like, she feels comfortable saying anything. She doesn't worry for a second, ever. People are worried about him more than he worries about him.
I never said that.
Look at his face.
But
I never said that.
But Bobby, that is most of us.
Yeah, it's
Thank you, Blacklit.
I told you I was on your side.
I didn't
You told
know.
me to shut the
I
fuck
didn't know.
up
I
for 2
didn't know.
minutes and a half.
I didn't know. I
I'm
didn't
on
know.
your side,
I didn't know.
bro.
I didn't know.
I'm on your side.
Oh, you're on my side. I forgot.
Yeah, but
and I get it.
most of us is
yeah.
that.
I get it.
And
It's not so much that we're not turned on by it. Is that we don't care.
It doesn't
Check this
matter.
out.
Yeah.
In 92 LA Rides, I would loot with you.
Oh my god.
And then Bobby, like someone tries to save Bobby and Bobby gets uncomfortable and then he just completely just throws it away. Like, this is why I don't feel sorry for this. This is why I've totally changed my tune on Bobby Lee, is because, you know, there's a saying, God helps those who help
Yes.
themselves.
And
He
I think
doesn't help himself.
There's truth to that saying. Whether
Yeah.
you believe in God or not, I feel like you only get the help even from other people once you help yourself.
Bobby is
That's
only
it.
50% in this position because of her.
Right.
The other 50% is because he fucking allowed it.
It's nothing is ever solely someone else's fault. That's the other part of it is you choosing.
You know who he is, and I think I'm getting the name right. He's George Spahn in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Remember when Brad Pitt's character goes in to see George?
Spawn Ranch.
Yeah, at Spawn Ranch, and all these like hippies, the Manson family, have taken up residence there.
Yes.
And he's convinced that Squeaky loves him, and they're all there taking care of him and helping him. And Brad
Taking
Pitt's
care
like,
of the ranch.
yeah, and Brad Pitt's like, dude, you need to kick these fucking hippies off. And he yells at him.
Mm-hmm.
And Brad Pitt just walks out. He's like, well, fucking, I tried.
It's over.
It's hopeless.
It's over now.
Bobby Lee is Spawn. He's George Spawn at
He
Spawn
is.
Ranch.
And I mean,
And,
like,
and by the way, Khalyla is Charles Manson.
well, I think we all like collectively did an applause the day we found out they were splitting up too.
Yeah.
But then the guy comes out and says, "Oh, I still love her, and I'm still gonna let her live with me and co-host my show with me." Man, it's like somebody offered to completely cure you of your
Yeah.
cancer, and you decided to keep it.
This is where I turned a little bit and I had more sympathy and I felt better about Brendan Schaub.
Oh yeah,
was
that
like-
was for me too.
I was like, Brendan's a big oaf and a buffoon, but he's not a bad guy. Like during the Khalyla Bobby Lee stuff, I thought he was a bad guy with all the bullshit I thought he was pulling. But I think that big dumb idiot, I don't think he even realizes
Nope.
it. He was close.
He exposed
he was
a
on
lot
to
about her.
He was on to her.
Yep.
And I don't think he realizes how close he was. And he pulled back the reins because it was looking bad for him there.
It was coming down on him more than it should have.
None
I
of
think.
them looked good in that whole thing.
No, but it said a lot about her.
It helped expose her a little bit. And that's where I stopped going, oh, Brendan's a piece of shit. And I went, oh, no, Brendan's just a goofball.
I think when Callan was doing his yelling at that point too, like he was on a little bit of something too.
Yeah.
But again,
But Brendan's got that
People-
shouty energy.
yeah.
you know?
But again, the people like Callan and Schaub have to pull back the reins because they have a life to live, and when the shit's come down on them,
Yeah.
you know, it's over.
Well, he's in
Yes,
Montreal.
I know Bobby's saying in that context. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not against it. I'm with. We're gonna do it together. It's my uncle's store, bro. We're gonna All right. So I'm with you too, dog.
Yeah,
I actually hate the comedy in this because I'm like, no, he's close. Let him keep going, Bobby. This is the intervention. Bobby is an addict to her, and any attempt at intervention, he will try to deflect.
Do you keep hearing her like awkward laughs too? That sounds like a forced.
Don't get
robot
too
laugh.
close. Don't get too close to what I'm doing. Don't you fuck this up for me, Preach.
I know. I'm here too, bro. Go ahead.
I forgot the original point.
Okay, the thing that happened is that you were talking about position of power, and I said, what do you mean by position of power?
Right,
and you
right.
flipped the script. The reason why I said, why do you mean by position of power? The only reason I said that is because I feel like women have a tendency to use and overabuse of that term
Yes.
of position of power. And that's the only reason why. I
No,
wanna
you're getting
specify.
warmer.
Does it-
Oh, she shut the fuck up.
Look at her face.
That face went from, she was big smiles a minute ago.
You're getting hot. It's like he's playing hide and seek with her, and he's getting on her trail.
He's threatening to hit that main tendon, that just kind of that one that leads right to the heart, that artery. He's about to follow that vein all the way to the heart, right there.
Look at her.
Doesn't mean you ain't got power. Doesn't mean you ain't great. You are who you are, Bobby Lee. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, but I just want to know, what do you mean by position
She
of
hates
power?
this.
Yeah, I think that it's more something that he's defined for
at
himself,
this.
not necessarily
That's fine,
like
and it's a
because
position of
even when
power.
I
Now defeated, completely changes her point and takes a shot at Bobby.
got with him, I never
Body
felt like he
language.
was in a position of power.
See who's not on your side now?
Look at him
Look at me,
too.
Bobby. I'm nationwide. Nationwide.
That's nervous laughter coming out of her. I'm telling you.
She crossed her arms too when they brought that up. She
Yeah.
got totally her whole body. You talk about homeless dude
look.
making like body shit. Like, look at her.
I know that they're big, Abba and Preach. I just don't know much about him. I really like this guy. I really like him because this dog shit Tigerbelly podcast is always full of these soft therapy going LA fucking paper mache comics. And now they're bringing a real dude in there. And he's like, he's in that room for 5 minutes and he goes, this bitch is fucked up, Bobby.
He is. He's almost like a therapist here. Like he can like read these two and see what's going on, but he's walking this fine line where he's like, look, I see he's totally dicked here, but he doesn't even see it, so there's no saving him.
I'm going to make an effort.
I'll make an effort, but that's as far as I go.
He's Brad Pitt at Spawn Ranch.
Yeah.
Me.
That's me.
I know.
Yay.
Danger.
What? No power, nothing?
Not in the beginning, no.
Okay.
No.
Interesting.
Wow, do you want me to leave you?
Now this one's pretty funny.
Okay, and then I like this guy. It's just I don't want to steal like his takes or anything, so I'll just skip to the. And he did a good job of clipping it up. Again, comedy
enforcement.
Comedy enforcement. Subscribe to his channel.
He's
He's really great.
Very confrontational type.
No.
If we talk about the whole debacle that happened with Carlos Mencia, everybody.
Did he bring it back? He brought it back.
See how look at how serious Preach is, and look at how uncomfortable and jokey Bobby is. This guy's trying, man.
That guy's trying to get to a point and have an actual conversation about some stuff, and he's deflecting as hard as he can.
I feel like Preach is this close to going, Bobby, kick her ass out of the room for like 5 minutes and keep the cameras rolling. I got to talk to you.
Bobby, you're sick.
But we got to get you away from her. We got to separate you from her.
She's his disease.
Yeah.
I love this guy.
Told you to tell it, and you was like,
yeah,
and I understood why. I get it.
That's who I am.
Get it, but and even I understood where you're from, and even Joe Rogan went like, maybe I went a bit too much, whatever. But things had to be said. So I don't even think right there from the beginning, no matter what you think from the core, you're not a very confrontational person. And then after that, you have to add.
Yeah.
Everything that's
right.
Oh, he wanted to say the manipulation,
Yeah.
the shit she's doing to you, but
He's
you know.
really towing that line right now. He's talking about her.
This conversation would be so much different if she went out to get a drink of water.
Yes, he's only behaving this way. It's like he's censoring himself because she's sitting right there, but he's only talking
She's
about
nervous too because he starts to get to certain shit and that smile fades from her face real quick.
She always kind of like she does one of these looks over to Bobby too, like
Right.
to see like if he's picking up on what Preach is saying.
Because she knows what he's saying, but she's hoping Bobby's too dumb
That's always
and Bobby won't pick it up, and he is.
it's
Again,
always the
Bobby
case.
deserves this.
Always the case.
Back then.
What would you do? What would you have done? Ooh, baby,
I would have said, you know
this
what?
is crispy.
I would have been honest, and I would have said what I believe now is yeah, he's a great performer, probably one of the best in the business.
Yes.
He crushes, right? I don't think some of his ideas is his, right?
Are
In fact,
his.
I know it isn't, right?
Oh my God! See the way you said that?
Right. Just say he stole.
Yeah.
Just say he stole. Like, he's
Come on.
so
He's
unconfrontational.
so soft, really.
Carlos Mencia being exposed needed a Joe Rogan level guy to be that aggressive because other people in comedy, especially LA comics, are fucking pussies and they would go, well, I just don't think that some of his ideas are. No, Joe Rogan just went, he's a thief. He's a fucking thief.
That's necessary.
He stole from Ari. He stole from Cosby. He stole from George Lopez. He's a fucking thief. And Rogan shouted it from the rooftops for like a year before Mencia finally got exposed. The reason these pieces of shit get away with it is because people like Bobby Lee are in charge and they go, I think he's a great performer. This is like that therapy shit and that soft LA shit.
Excusing. Really.
He's a great performer, but some of his ideas weren't that original. You fucking pussy. And this is why this no talent waste of space is still around sucking your bank account dry after she stopped fucking you, after she started fucking other people, after your relationship was over, and you still let her take a piece of Bobby Lee Incorporated because you're soft, you're mush, you're an LA comic, you're just that therapy going, easy to manipulate tool, and that's why she's still here.
He lets her walk all over him.
He needs
like
an
a
intervention.
doormat.
This is the best intervention he's going to get, but I doubt anything's going to happen.
You thought that was confrontational?
There's still a lot of diplomacy.
That was the softest shit I've heard today.
How would you?
Wait. Give me another shot.
Okay.
Give me another. This is my first time being confrontational.
Hey, what do you think about Carlos Mencia, Bobby?
He's
Bobby
a
Lee.
thief.
That's more like it.
But
He's a
can I say put a butt there? He's a great guy.
Oh, see, you said the thing you needed to say and the thing you meant, and then you walk it down with a compliment.
By the way, that's why he can't fire her. That's why he can't let her go
in general.
Because he would go.
I guarantee you those two are still having sex. I guarantee you they are.
Doubt it.
I bet you
doubt it.
anything they are.
She's getting everything she wants, and she doesn't want to fuck him.
She'll fuck him on occasion just to keep him around.
She doesn't need to, and she doesn't want to. I'll tell you exactly what this is.
Okay.
She wanted in the business. Mm-hmm. He was the in the business. She said numerous times that he has sex like once a year or twice a year when they were together.
Oh, see, I missed those comments.
So she ain't fucking him. She got what she wanted. She's squeezing him dry. And anytime anyone like Preach, I doubt he's going to be back on again. Anytime someone like Preach gets too close or someone like Brendan gets too close. See, the problem with Brendan is he's dumb and he doesn't realize how close he was.
He doesn't know that he's stumbling onto the answer.
He was right there. If we all just wouldn't have shit on Brendan so hard, like make fun of him for him being dumb and silly, I think that's great. But if we all, myself included, would have backed off him a little bit more, maybe him and Brian would have got to the root of this problem and saved Bobby Lee. You know, it's kind of like in Star Wars when they didn't realize that Palpatine was the Sith Lord.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, you guys are so close. You're just following the wrong guy. That was the Brendan and Bobby thing. Where we're like, Brendan's such an easy to hate dope bro.
Yeah.
That he was an easy target. But now we realize that tough love and that shitty behavior he was giving Bobby is kind of what Bobby needed, unfortunately.
Like I said, we both kind of turned the page a little bit on Brendan Schaub after that.
Still a goof.
He's totally goofy, but now it's like in a totally endearing way, I think.
So much nuance when it comes to my relationship with him, all the things that
still got a relationship with him.
Yeah,
I like this guy.
He still texts me.
He gave you your first car.
He gave me. I didn't have a car. He bought me a car. Got me a car.
He's still around.
Yeah, he's still around.
He still does comedy.
Yeah, still does stand up.
Cause I'd love to see that guy.
He kills.
Now that shit is out,
and he's also selling tickets, and he's doing well.
Cause now that shit is out there, all right. Hopefully, he doesn't do it no more. Cause I used to love this dude.
Me too.
The performance was on point.
On point. Yes.
Can we get over?
That's what I'm saying.
Because he still can bring something to the table.
And I also have to say too, to defend him, right, is what he did was in terms of comedy, a crime, right?
Yes.
But other white dudes have done exactly the same thing.
Oh,
yeah,
and
always with the skin
they
color.
Keep their career. They keep their reputation, and he was thrown out of the fucking business. And he's been in prison for 15 fucking whatever years. And I think because he's a Hispanic guy and because he's a vocal guy.
I think he was in jail for too long.
Way too long.
He was in jail for too long. And I think.
Well, that's because everybody loves Rogan.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to impress Rogan. So
planting stakes on one side or the other.
Exactly.
That's me. Like, okay, we get it. We got it. Like, he suffered. He really could do something out there.
Yeah. So, because right now, the clips that I see, I feel like it's his own voice. I don't think he's stealing anymore. I think he's finding joy in comedy again. He's selling tickets. You know, I know all those things. And without him in my life, I would have never been where I am.
Here's the thing. Preach.
All right. So that's now is that the end of the that's the end of the clips.
That got interesting, huh?
But again, what is it about her? What kind of succubus is she that they get so close? All these guys get so close to like what the problem is. They get so close to like snapping Bobby Lee out of it, and they get so close to going to Khalyla and going, "You're the fucking demon that's causing all of this." And then they pull back.
Well,
like even this guy Preach, who I like, he pulled back at the last minute. He knew. All these people knew. Unfortunately, the one that got closest to it, Brendan, didn't know.
She is an epic manipulator. She's got the dude brainwashed. And I think sometimes when there's people on their show, maybe like when they've got their own businesses and shit, maybe they're afraid of the shit she pulls behind the scenes and stuff. Because think about what she did with the Brendan Schaub thing and the allegations.
She made everyone feel like she was the victim.
Right. She pretended to be the victim when a lot of signs pointed towards her being the actual one who did everything.
The Trafficking African says, Aaron, she is the primary owner of the podcast. Yeah, look, I mean, you can try to help a guy all you want. But if he won't help himself, then what the fuck?
He is brainwashed, and I think a lot of people, everyone can see it but Bobby, and I think a lot of people that have their own shit going on maybe don't want to mess with her.
Small Victory says, did y'all see when Eric Griffin called her out for how she dressed and acted when they first met? I haven't, but I will say this. I wish Eric Griffin wouldn't be doing a podcast with that ghoul Chris D'Elia and Brendan Schaub, because Eric Griffin is a really funny guy.
I prefer actual strung out Peter Griffin.
Yes, it's, yeah.
The guy Aaron looks like a really thin, strung out Peter Griffin.
And again, I'm so insecure that I went, he thinks I'm really thin?
I knew you'd take that from it, but that was good, though.
Thank you, Husey. I appreciate that. She's got dirt on Bobby for sure. No,
right.
But look, as an O&A fan, Bobby has given out all the dirt on Bobby Lee. There's nobody who has dirt on Bobby Lee. She's got a hold. She's got her hooks in this guy. And you need like a Patrice O'Neal level guy to just go in there and blow that entire thing up. But for some reason, nobody will.
In some fashion, I think Bobby very much sees Khalyla as his life source. Like, she's always given him the answers to everything, and she's shown him the way when he can't find it. And you know what I mean? It's an addict.
I think he's determined. He's determined in his brain to see it as, well, if I get rid of her, the audience will leave. I think if he gets rid of her, he has to bring in someone else, but they would celebrate him.
Yeah, if you made a good choice there, I think that could be really great.
They would celebrate Bobby if he would just go, you know what? If he showed up one day and she wasn't there and he told the audience, you know what I did? I washed my hands of her. I realized what a monster she was. And then just do an hour-and-a-half episode where he just, tells the whole story, tears her apart.
Yeah.
And you know who the guest is for that episode?
Brendan Schaub.
Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen.
There you go.
And they all become buddies again, and they go, you understand what was causing us to be separated was this fucking manipulative bitch putting us between each other.
I've got it.
What?
Brendan Schaub finally dumps his fucking D'Elia podcast he's got because, let's be honest, that's a terrible business move.
Yeah.
He dumps all these other shit. Like, you've noticed he's got, like, several podcasts going on. Like, he can keep The Fighter and The Kid with Brian. That's fine.
Yeah.
But then cut everything else and just go do the other one with Bobby.
I've got a better idea.
Focus on a couple.
I got a better idea. Bring Brendan and Brian on as guests. Fire Khalyla. Team up with Theo Vaughn, do a podcast together.
I was going to suggest Theo. I didn't know if you'd think that was a good match.
I think that would be a fun match. Okay.